So, how do you guys end up with this MiG? How does that work out?
This MiG was purchased from the Chinese government. It's a
Chinese
manufactured MiG-17.
Okay.
And it was bought by a airshow pilot named Bill Reisman,
Okay.
who flew it in air shows along with an F-86, and then he did a let's pretend Korean War thing, where the F-86 chased him, you know. Well, it's not a Korean War airplane, it's a Vietnam era airplane.
Okay.
It shot down more American airplanes than any other type.
Wow.
The MiG-15 looks very similar, so you can get away with it. Anyway, he was flying up near Portland one day in 1994, and he went into afterburner, and somehow a fuel line probably separated, and raw fuel sprayed onto the afterburner, and it caught fire. And the fuel tank for the burner it has a separate fuel tank, is wrapped around the head of the burner. So when the burner caught fire, there's all this gas or aviation fuel that's just right there.
Yeah.
So it should have exploded.
Wow.
The ejection seat, from what I understand, the ejection system was not operative, so he didn't have much choice. He could have jumped out, but he probably would have hit something, and he didn't know where the airplane was going to go. So he called the Aurora Tower and asked for a straight into Aurora, and they said yes and gave him a straight in. He flew in, and the local volunteer fire department was out practicing that day. And so he taxied over as close as he could to where they were, and they put him out with the big foam hoses and all that stuff.
Wow.
So the airplane was pretty much saved. So the extensive damage that you see back in the back is fire damage, plus when they brought it down here on a truck, I think they dropped the tail, because that big break there by the horizontal stab was not, watch it, not normally a bin there. So this little part here where you can see it looks like it's melted,
Yeah.
that's the fuel tank. And the burner, of course, is right inside there. And the engine stops about here, and the afterburner starts. Now, inside the building, we have the spare engine and afterburner, so you can see a little more clearly as to how it would be arranged. So anyway, he jumped out, and they put it out, and it was totaled. And so he pulled the engine and burner and scrapped that and gave us the airframe. So that's what this is. And then he went and bought another one.
Oh, man.
They were selling them $30,000 for a jet plus the engine and burner. They were at the end of their lifetime, you know, they were switching up to some other
out of
model
commission, or
they were going to MiG-21s or 19s or whatever, and so the 17s became available. There's one in Hillsborough that just flew last weekend. We were up there for the air show, and they flew a MiG-17 F-86 combination. It was kind of neat watching it fly. I'd never seen one fly before.
I bet. Now, what were the weapons system on this like?
This one has a very, very good weapon system, something we should have done ourselves. It has 3 cannon. The 2 on this side are 23mm cannon. They fire explosive shells.
Oh.
And they're not in there. That's just a cannon housing. But
Okay.
if you could imagine a cannon,
it would have
cannon barrel
a
would be
barrel sticking
out about that far.
Okay.
2 of them. And
On each
the other
side
is a 37mm
wow.
cannon. 1. And the 2 cannon systems are very high quality, made by, well, the model is called, they're called Noodleman cannons. They're made by a guy with that name who made them for the Soviets in World War II, like Kalashnikov, you know, manufacturer. Well, the Noodleman cannons, what they did with these was they had a radar gun sight. So this specs out what's ahead of you 400 or 500 meters, and then shows the pilot on the little display in the cockpit a presentation like a screen where he can tell distance, he can tell range, and that controls the firing, of course. And then the 23s and the 37 were independently controlled, but the bullets all went to the same place. So if you were, say, going after a B-52 or something with this, you'd shoot the 23s until you started seeing some hits, then you'd flip over and shoot the big gun, boom, 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 boom. Wow. And that thing shoots Coke bottle size, proximity fused shells, which means they don't have to hit, they don't have to get close, then they blow up. And the fragments from them are enough to bring down anybody, 1 shell. So this is a very good gun system.
Wow, I'm amazed.
What we should have had. Instead, we equipped our F-86s, which would be, you know, kind of comparable with 50 calibers, you know, 6 of them, but it's only a contact. You still have to hit it. This guy, you just have to get close.
Huh. Now, how many of these, how many cartridges are...
Well, I don't know exactly for the MiG. I wouldn't imagine more than 10-15 seconds worth of firing.
Okay.
I know with the F-86 you've got about 10-12 seconds worth of firing.
That's it.
Total firing time. But those are 600 rounds a minute. These are much slower. Those machine guns and the F-86 we'll see when we go inside. That's a standard, you know, Mark II 50 caliber. That's, you know, as fast as you can make the thing happen. The 23s and the 37 are boom, 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 like that. They're a lot slower. But this is the engine and the afterburner for the MiG.
Oh, wow.
Here's a photograph of it burning. Newspaper guy took. So what we think happened with this was that the pilot selected afterburner, which means the engine, the basic engine, is attached to the front of the burner. You can see all these little bolt hole rings here. And then when the pilot selects afterburner, it shoots unmetered fuel right into that can, which gives you a 50% increase in thrust, but a 200% increase in fuel consumption. So you don't leave it on for very long. Well, when Reisman selected burner, went into burner, one of these fuel lines somewhere around the perimeter of the engine broke, and raw fuel just hosed on in there. Well, you can imagine, this is the turbine, you know, and the turbine shaft that runs the compressor at the other end. So this thing is shooting out, you know, 1500 degree superheated fuel, I mean gas, and then you have this on fire. And then what do they wrap right around here? The fuel tank.
Oh no.
So that's
bad
kind
design
of
on that part.
Yeah.
Okay.
But they did it with all of them. I don't know what the deal was, but they did it with all of them. They also had fuel in the wings like we do, but the burner tank was a separate place, and that's where they put it. I guess they didn't have room anyplace else for it or something. I don't know.
Okay, so what are the planes here?
Okay, this is an F-86.
F-86.